Yo, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Before we get into today's questions and answers, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for the kind messages and comments about last week's video. Sharing that I wasn't riding for YT anymore has been something that I've been super nervous about. I've actually had that farewell video done and uploaded for almost 2 months, just set as private on the channel. So to finally share that was pretty scary, but to see the response was a big weight off my shoulder. So thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And alongside that video, I'm really excited to be doing this Q&A and just open things up. I've always responded to all the comments, but in case there's something you've been wanting to ask that wasn't, necessarily directly related to a video, I just wanted to do this Q&A. So let's get into it. Starting things off here, we have Seth Gale asking, I have a question if you'll ever go to Rampage. At the moment, riding in Rampage is far from my top priority. I've actually, for the most part, never had any interest in riding Rampage, although a lot of what I ride reflects that you see in Rampage. I'm not a competitive person, so I'm not gonna be going out there like, oh, I need to win. And personally, I don't think you should be in Rampage unless you're there to win. And at least for my mindset today, in January of 2024, I'm not feeling like Rampage is my calling. Maybe in a year or two that will change, but for right now, I'm just having a blast riding out in Virgins, just right up the street from my house, pushing my limits and just being creative on my bike and doing what I feel is right to me. Josh Allenberg asked, it's occurred to me I've never seen you flip a jump, despite all the other tricks you stomp. Just not comfortable with them? Great riding regardless, bro. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. But yes, backflips, they're no-go for me right now. I actually made a solid attempt to learn them on trampolines first, and my knee gave out and smashed my nose, and that is now why I have a crooked nose. So didn't have the best first go trying to learn backflips. I can front flip pretty solid in the foam pit, but that's not a trick I have any desire to take to dirt. So for now, I'm just psyched doing flat spins, 360s, switch threes, all those. But yeah, the backflip, it needs to be conquered at some point, but today is not the day. LCMTB8023 asked, will you be riding for a new company in 2024? So as of today, Tuesday, January 30th, this video will come out tomorrow. I do not have a new bike sponsor. There are a few conversations going on, and I'm very hopeful that the right thing will work out. I don't want to just force working with a brand for the sake of having a bike sponsor. I'm pretty particular for the brands that I would want to ride for. I have a lot of integrity for who I represent and what products I endorse. So I'm just looking for the right brand to align with my vision and me align with their products. And I'm hopeful and optimistic that things are gonna work out here in the next few months. On that same note, Vino6481 asked, how come you're leaving YT? Just curious, but new brand is gonna be fire. The reason I'm leaving YT is because when it came time to renew my contract, because most athletes are on anywhere from 1 to 3 year deals, it could be a 1, a 2, 3, whatever. And my deal happened to be up at the end of this year, and the bike industry is in a pretty tough spot. And I was told from my boss at YT that they are on a hiring freeze. So I did not have the option to stay, to be honest with you, which is a bummer. And then in the meantime, since I got that news in last October roughly, I've been trying to kind of sort it out, and it hasn't quite played its course just yet, but as I mentioned before, I'm optimistic. Now moving to some questions from Instagram. Greg_MTB14 asked, if you could go back in time, what tips would you give yourself to progress even faster? I would say overall, I'm a relatively slow progressor on my bike, and that's because I tend to avoid big risks. And with avoiding big risks, you avoid big steps in progression. Now, for me, I would say that's been a pretty solid way to go about it, because it's been consistent, my progression. It's not been like a big up to like a down or whatever. It's just been a nice linear line, in my opinion, since I was about 15 years old. But I would say what I would do to speed things up would be to find how to build confidence better. For me, when I was maybe 17 to like 21, I was riding every day so hard, which is great. You have a lot of time on your bike, but I was getting so tired, and I'd mess up routine things, which would just totally smack my confidence. And it was so hard for me to just have a consistent high level of confidence, which makes it really hard to like want to push yourself because you're like, oh, maybe it's a bad day today. So what I've ended up doing is I now ride anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week, depending on the week. So I'll do a gym day, a rest day, and then I'll typically ride 3 days. And yeah, that works really well for me because since I'm going to the gym and then having a rest day, I know that when I'm going to ride, I can be 100% focused on what I want to get done those days, and also know that my body is rested and prepared for that. And going out to ride knowing that I'm rested and focused is such an upgrade to my mentality. I go out there knowing I'm in the best possible position to perform at my highest level, and that's just given me so much confidence and helped me progress so much the last few years. Tell us how your bike is so damn quiet. My bike is quiet due to spending a lot of time working on it and being very particular about my setup. But if you're looking for ways to keep your bike quiet, I just made a video about this a few weeks back called I think it was called the top 5 ways to keep your bike silent. I'd really recommend checking that out. It'll be linked down in the description below. I had a lot of fun making that video, and it seems to have helped a lot of you out as well. So I'd recommend checking out that video for more information. Samson5150 asked, what was the scariest/best moment you think you've had in your career so far? I would say the scariest and best moments of my career have kind of gone simultaneously over these past few months, with the scariest being my current sponsorship situation. I switched from being a freelance filmmaker and photographer to a professional athlete full-time this past year. So to have these kind of, I guess, business speed bumps going on right now, the state of the bike industry has been pretty scary. But then at the same time, switching to doing all of my content on YouTube, where previously I would do my riding videos on my sponsors' channels, has been such an amazing experience so far, and building the community, and even just like responding to comments or doing Q&As like this, I feel so much more in touch with the audience and you, the viewer, and that's been great and definitely the best thing that I've experienced in my career so far. So they've definitely gone side by side the past few months, and that's what I'd say the scariest and best moments have been. Clancy Campbell asked, biggest crash. The biggest crash I've ever had, I think, was at Winter Park this summer, which I'll roll the footage of right now. It was a pretty gnarly one. I hit this left berm. I kind of pre-hopped into this rock roll before it, hit the berm harder than I ever had really, and my pedal actually clipped a rock in the berm. My rear suspension almost bottomed out. Pedals got real low, hit a rock, Pete went flying. And the reason it was so scary is because I rode my front wheel for like 15 feet before smashing, so I had a second to think about what was gonna happen. And yeah, that one stung. Victor asked, clips or flats? I switched to riding clip pedals for most of my trail riding and some bike park stuff, not last summer, but the summer before, and I've been absolutely loving it. It is so fun and new, and you have so much control of the bike. So I think for now, I'm gonna say clip pedals. But for the riding I do on my downhill bike in, Virgin, like free riding and doing 360s and things like that, I need flat pedals, and same on my dirt jump bike, need the flat pedals for that. So, the flat pedals are a necessity, but I really enjoy riding clips for sure. How long did it take you to get to that level? When I was 15, I decided to stop playing baseball, tennis, all the other sports that I guess most kids play probably. And I decided to commit fully to biking. I'm 24 now, so it's been about 9 years, and here I am now riding how I ride. It's not been an easy process, and yeah, just been kind of slow growth, as I talked about earlier, just a nice linear line of progression, not trying to take any crazy steps or big leaps, just riding and having fun and seeing where it takes me. Alpine Images asked, how do you overcome fear? How do you calm your emotions when trying something new for the first time and not overthink something? Fear tends to creep in when I'm not prepared to do something. And for the most part, I try to not take risks where there's more than like a 5, sometimes 10% chance I'm not gonna land it. So I'm basically like, okay, there's a 95% chance I'm gonna stick this, 5% not, or whatever the ratio is, 97% I'm gonna stick it, or 3%. Other people are a little more risky than myself, but for the most part, if I'm a little worried about something, I need to remind myself that I've put in the work to get there. And then if I'm too scared to do something, I probably shouldn't be doing it. So that's, I just listen to my gut, and that's how I go about it. And for me, it's worked out pretty well so far. Those are all the questions for today. Thank you so much to everyone who contributed. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this style of video, please let me know down in the comments below. Maybe we can do this once a year or something like that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.